Lovely to be here tonight. What a beautiful life. Give yourself some round of applause. You're so lovely.
Since the Broner-Pacquiao fight, do you think Broner should be given another pay-per-view special? And do you think he's interesting enough to fans to compensate for the losses?
That's a good question. And if I'm going to be honest, and I hate to use the word deserve, because fighting, boxing, combat sports, they such hard sports, and I do have a deep respect for anybody that does it. But in terms of guys that's been out there putting in work, Broner didn't earn this appearance. He got there, like you mentioned, because of his mouth and because of his personality. And I just saw the pay-per-view numbers. They did 400,000, which is pretty good for your first pay-per-view, even though Pacquiao is the real name there. But after this kind of a loss, could he come back? I think the popular opinion now is no. Like, nah, because, look, I watched the fight in a house full of people, right? There was people in there that know boxing. There was people who were casual fans, and nobody in that house thought Broner won. Everybody started jeering when he jumped up on the ropes and put his hands up after the fight. I'm talking about casual fans, hardcore fans. Everybody was like, hell no. Nah. So there was nobody in there that was happy with the way he conducted himself afterwards. But the fact that he is so brash and the fact that he gave that ridiculous post-fight interview, I can't say that they won't tune back in. And because right now everybody's saying he's done, it's over. And I'm like, because of the fact that he's been peddling his personality and his antagonism more so than his skills, he just did a hard sell on his best skill again at the post-fight interview when he trolled and said, everybody knows I won. You know what I mean? Like, that's almost the best skills he's put on display is the ability to piss people off.
And this is another thing. Obviously, everybody they talk about before the fight and during the fight. Broner has very low punch output. Now, why do you think that is? Do you think it's because he has kind of like a limited gas tank? Or do you think it's fear?
See, like, I've been watching Broner fight a while. And the first time I saw him not look really great was against a guy named Daniel Ponce de Leon, who is known to be a big puncher. And Broner kind of ran the whole fight. And at the time, I wonder, like, is he scared of this man's power, or does he not trust his own chin? Now, since then, we've seen him get hit, but we've also seen him get hit and go into a shell. We know the lifestyle he's, publicly lives outside the ring. You see the dude walk around clubbing, having a gut, drinking alcohol. These aren't things that lend themselves to being in great shape all the time and having the best endurance and stamina. So I think definitely the part of being a gun shy is worried about his stamina. It has to be. And I think the fear aspect of it has to do with, if you're a prideful person, you know how they say fatigue makes cowards of all men. We've seen a couple times where he fought tough, like he didn't quit. He stayed in there and was still throwing, but he didn't sell out. He didn't do the whole, like, I'm going balls to the wall, somebody's not making it to the bell. He preserves himself and holds back. So, yeah, if I had a guess, because of the fact he takes a good single shot, I'm going to say that it's a lack of confidence in his stamina is the number one culprit.
Well, that was my instinct, but I'm glad you explained that.
But again, that's your fault. Train harder, get in better shape. And if you're 3-3-1 or going into the fight 3-2-1 in your last few fights, you see that it's not working to have this low of an output when you're on that championship level. And truthfully, Broner looked good for a lot of rounds, and he would have looked great if he threw his damn hands. So I think it's fatigue, but that goes back to preparation and the difference between a Floyd Mayweather and a whole lot of other people. For all that talking Floyd does, he's always supremely conditioned. He's always the guy that went the extra mile in training, and he comports himself like that guy, like with that kind of real confidence. It's not just braggadocio. It's that, no, I know that if it comes down to it, I have more in the tank than you. Broner acts like at any given moment this tank might run out, and I'm not going to embarrass myself in front of you. So, yeah, because really, when he got hurt in the seventh, I was like, man, he going to get on his bike.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and maybe this is my lack of like years of seeing boxing reviews or forecasts, but I don't think I've ever seen so many people predict exactly how this fight was gonna, what the outcome was gonna be, and how it would, how it would turn, how it would be.
On paper, it was predictable. Things don't always go the way you think, but on paper, it was very predictable. Like I had people who they knew all these things too, but a lot of them took solace in the fact that he was invoking the hood before the fight, and they were hoping that for once he would dig deep because it was something bigger than him. You've been asking the question, so let me ask you. So would you watch Broner again? Is it over for Broner in your mind?
Oh, it's over for me. I can't stand the dude. I'm with Errol Spence. I don't like him as a fighter. I don't like him as a person.
Like a label staff, nothing, huh?
Nothing. I don't want to see him again. And I thought it was very telling. Probably most people, everybody thought it was telling. But at the end of the fight, he said they can't. What he said, they can't take this one. They can't cheat me out of this one. Yeah. I was like, boy, you want to talk about projection right there? It's like Psych 101. Like students, let's learn the word projection today. Like what? Like, dude, you already know you lost this fight. You saying that?
I will say this. I'm sick of the antics. I'm sick of all of it. And I'm not sick in some kind of, oh, you embarrassing us in front of white people way. No, I'm sick of it as a fight fan. I still think he's good enough to be a measuring stick for a younger fighter. I don't think that he has earned another pay-per-view headliner. But if I have a young fighter who I'm trying to give a name to, then I would definitely put them in there with Broner. And because of his personality, I think he'll sell the fight, and I think people will come see him again.
Do you think the loss would make any difference in his motivation?
I think once you lose your O, the sting of an individual loss goes away. Because, people love the glamour of the O. But once it's gone, what's the difference between him having 3 losses and 4? He's already conditioned to losing and still being able to maintain, even if it's delusional, he's able to maintain his self-confidence. So I don't care. So now it's not even, there's nothing to take from me. I have draws on my ledger. I have losses on my ledger. Whoop-dee, I'm still the greatest. You still love me. I still got a $2.5 million guarantee plus pay-per-view upside. So I'm going to make many millions to come be myself. So, and the fact that he says what he said and everybody saw I won the fight and he seems so delusional about it, that indicates that he has no intentions of really repairing himself. So if he keeps getting matched on a championship level, which he has been matched with a lot of championship level guys, if he keeps getting matched on that level, he's going to keep losing. If he wants to look good again, he's going to have to step his level back down to people that he can overwhelm with talent. Because on the championship level, you have to bring more than just your natural ability. You got to bring some hard will, intensity, a lot of intangibles that he just hasn't displayed.
Yeah, I can't stress enough. I do not want to see him fight again. I mean, I was kind of, I did like his footwork though. I mean, he didn't throw many punches, but it's like, I haven't seen a lot of his fights, but I could tell at his best he was real talented.
I mean, the dude has a lot of ability. I mean, he should be better. He derailed himself, and some of it is I think he got things too quickly, but I won't even get into all that because the question was, what do I think is going to happen? No, I do not think Adrien Broner is done because people love you or they love to hate you. And after this last in-fight and post-fight performance on the microphone, a whole lot more people love to hate him, and they would love to see him get knocked out. And somebody's going to have that opportunity in the future, maybe even on pay-per-view.